I make my own deodorant. Coconut oil, baking soda. You could put a little shea butter. Next time I make it, I'm gonna put a little shea butter. And then you could put whatever essential oil that you like. I love it. I like to use my fingers for everything. I use my fingers for putting on deodorant. And look how delicious this deodorant looks. It gets really nice and gets this beautiful texture. Coconut oil, baking soda, essential oil. I'm gonna put a little bit of shea butter. If the baking soda and coconut oil and essential oil is a little sensitive, just put a little shea butter. I put a little shea butter under my eyes for my eye cream. I make my own deodorant. I put a little shea butter at the end of my hairs. Go, superhero, go! Tell me about how lovable you are. I want to know. I want to know what makes you sad. I'll tell you what makes me sad. I miss my kids, Dylan, Rose, and Chris. It makes me sad that their caregivers are alienating me and enemy imaging me, and all I want to do is love them up. And I want them to love me and like me. And I think that they want to keep me from my kids because they're worried that I'm going to be some sort of non-enhancing presence and I might take them away, the kids away, or they think I might be non-enhancing because of my attitude. And I want them to know, and I keep saying over and over, and I'm very public, and everyone knows what I say because everyone's like, what's Daisy saying? I've been saying it. I just want to be able to see my kids and share in the love and be a life-enriching presence and bring nothing but a positive attitude because I am but a servant. And I am so humble and grateful and appreciative that these people are taking care of my children. And I say these people because my mother, she's part of these people. She doesn't really act like my mother. Mothers do not alienate their daughter from their kids. This is not how a mother acts. I'm not available for abuse. I'm being mistreated by my mother. And I have my own actions that I'm doing that I need to work on. But I also acknowledge when I'm being abused. I don't really know the caregivers who have my daughter. I know they have a little boy. I just want to be able to love them. I feel like we would really get along. I think that we would have a lot in common. I think that parental alienation has a lot to do with my mom and I kind of being at each other. And in the past, I was pretty scary. And my mom has good reason to do what she's doing. My mom's got the best intentions, and she's being really loving. She's doing the best she can. This is as loving as she could be. And that's what I'm sad about. I'm mourning the gap between me and my kids. And I'm also mourning the gap between me and the caregivers of my kids. And I consider that little boy who lives with my daughter and my daughter's two half-siblings, that her dad, Brian Pearson, who lives right up the street from me, those two, I consider all of them my kids. I want to be able to be loving and caring to everyone. You guys want, okay, that's why I'm sad. You want to know what I'm working on? You better put in the chat why you're sad, and you better tell me what you're working on, because I'm not going to be the only one dishing it out, yo. It's not about me emptying my heart and putting it out there for you guys. You guys got to be telling me, what is alive in you? What is alive in you? Tell me. I'm waiting. Put it in the chat. What are you sad about? I just told you what I'm sad about. You want to know what I'm working on? It's easy for me to think about what I'm needing. I tend to lean a little bit narcissistic. So what I'm working on is I'm working on becoming balanced. I don't want to go all the way over here and become anxious, preoccupied. No. I want to be more loving and more whole. And I know where this piece where it's hard for me to think about like what are you feeling and needing? So I constantly remind myself I'm always thinking about it. This is not my nature. This is not how it is my nature, but it's not my nurture. It's not how I was raised. Thank God I had these nannies that used to caress me from head to toe. Yo. They would caress me for hours and hours. Water with lemon, and then I like to put it in the bath because I'm going to take a bath with lemon and orange peels. This is Daisy the Venice Heel. It's how I look when I wake up without makeup. This is a semi-permanent eyeliner tattoo. I like to have my lips and my eyebrows done too, because I'm programmed to be gorgeous inside and out. I'm programmed to be gradually more loving and caring. That's what it's about. I don't want to always be thinking about me and what am I feeling and needing. I want to be thinking about all of life. I care about what the plants are feeling and needing. My gardens thrive. Like when I first got my plants, I was like, they're gonna do amazing. They're gonna get so much love that they are gonna explode with growth. Look at them. They're so happy. You guys are so happy. Do you see how happy? Look at my gardens. I have gardens everywhere. This is King Big Ben's place. I garden here. I garden all over the beach. I have guerrilla gardens. Okay, can I tell you guys? So I told you what I'm sad about and what I'm working on. I want to know, what are you sad about? What are you working on? It's not just about me sharing myself. I love myself. I know what I'm feeling and needing. I want to know what you're feeling and needing. It also really helps me to be witnessed by you in this way. I love you too. Would you like some love juice? Delicious. I just got more lovable. You just got more lovable too. Can you fill your body with bliss? Can you feel what it's like to have everything that you put in your body be healing and loving and medicinal? Your relationships too. How about if those are healing and loving? And if others mistreat you, there's all these videos like how to respond to a narcissist. And I want to first say the label is a stinger. And I want to stay away from labels, but because everyone is saying that, they're like, hey, how do I respond to a narcissist? I'm going to answer you guys. I'm going to give you some wisdom. And it's super important. Can you guys please listen? Okay, thank you. If there is somebody and they're witnessing you and you're witnessing them and they're not caring about you and you're able to tune into them and you can tune into their body, their biofield, and their brain, and you could tell that they're looking at you narcissistically. You could tell they are narcissists because there will not be a twinkle and a sparkle in their eyes. No. Narcissists are filled with pain and trauma. Oh, yes. They're so charismatic and good looking because their trauma is like, could you guys please love me? Could you please love me? And they're so violent and abusive because of this. Because they're just like a little baby that just got abused and really wanted to be loved. And now all they want to do is have their cute little baby come back and attack us. And that sweet little baby is a monster. Narcissists have the ghost of their baby's past. And a narcissist, I want you to look at them and be like, this is the ghost of your baby's past. Because that's what it is. And I want you to be like, what would you do if there was a baby and it was like, have you ever seen a baby that was pissed? Oh, babies have the most amount of joy and play and bliss. Babies can go really deep into ecstasy because they have absolute rage. They're monsters. They could be so violent. Have you ever seen a baby? If they have a chance to be violent, oh, they will bite just to see what it's like to bite. Once they start to get those little razor sharp teeth, they turn into piranhas. You call it teething? That's violence. Okay? So these little rage monster babies come back to haunt us as narcissists. So I want to ask you a question, Dupatu. What would you do if there was a cute little baby and the cute little baby was like, and the baby was like raging and violent? That's exactly what a full-grown human is doing. Their baby self has come back, and that's it. So if you start to like enemy image it, do you notice what I've done there, little Scoomanoo? My doobly. Listen, pay attention to what I just did. You used to think narcissist was bad. Before you were like, a narcissist, oh, their eyebrows are so scruffy and their breath is bad. And they don't care. They don't care about anyone. They only think about themselves. They think they're God and everyone else is mush, mlaka. And mush, mlaka, just, you can't talk to God. All right, if you have an enemy image about narcissists, I want you to, step 1, dissolve the enemy image. So I hope you enjoyed the goofy story about the baby. Oh, I love babies. If you don't love babies, then look at them like a cute little puppy. But there's a reason I said baby, because that actually is their baby self. All of us, at all different ages, ever since we were created, we came into a world that is in the 3rd dimension. The 3rd dimension means that our sympathetic nervous system is online. When our parasympathetic nervous system is online, we are in the 5th dimension. Sometimes you are in the 5th dimension. You can even go into higher states. Okay, dupa scoopa. But just to demystify the mystical, the 3rd dimension is simply your sympathetic nervous system, also known as fight flight, which is short for the 5 F's. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, lovemaking. And the 5 F's, if you think of it like an angry baby, and if you look at this person who's raging and violent, and you look at, seriously, I don't care if they're 6'5", 250 pounds of muscle like King Big Ben. If he's angry, okay, I'm going to tell you guys what happened. I upset Big Ben, King Big Ben. And I was so sad. I saw him upset, and it made me mourn my actions. And I didn't feel shame about myself. I wasn't bad, but I was so sad that I did what I did, and I really wished I did something different. So I went to the situation, I thought about it. I thought about what was not in alignment with what I wanted and what my values were and what my agreements were to Big Ben. And then I went to Big Ben and I said, after contemplating, I don't want to do what I did. And I can see that I didn't like how it made me feel, and I want to do something different. When he was angry and upset, so this is far from, he's the most caring man I've ever met. He takes such good care of me. And I'm exclusive with King Big Ben. I did something to hurt him. I saw him like a sweet baby. I wasn't even thinking about it, but that's how I saw him. I was in so much pain because I hurt him. And that pain is healthy. that is what we want the everyone to feel. So if you have an enemy image, so it made me want to change, right? I tend to just think about myself. I tend to not always consider others. I wasn't really thinking about how this would make King Big Ben feel. Like, there's a video I uploaded of me, the past video, I was doing flow strokes with another guy, and King Big Ben didn't like that. And it hurt me that I hurt him. I didn't like how it made me feel. So I was able to contemplate, because it's all on video. I made plans to meet this person for flow strokes again the next day. And Big Ben watched the video, but, you know, I told him about the flow strokes, and it popped up, and he watched it. It was eye-opening for me, because in my body, I could feel it like deep in my throat, and it was eye-opening because I wasn't like, how do I explain it? It wasn't like before where I would kind of get numb and start to think about myself. I sat there and I consciously felt in my body, and I started to name the emotions and the body sensations. And I talk about it a lot, but I don't really get the chance to do it that often. And I sat there, I was like, oh, shame, it's this deep pit right here. Like, it was right in my heart chakra. I'm coming to the realization right now. And I thought it was in my throat, but it was like from throat, heart, it was right here. And it hurt me. And I'm not used to having one partner. I'm not used to trusting one person that my needs are going to get met, and that they're going to care about me and be there for me, and I can trust them. And letting go means I open my heart. So now I'm vulnerable, because if I don't have a big hard shell, anyone can get in there and touch my warm, squishy center. And it's very loving and sweet and caring and wonderful there. It's a beautiful space where source energy and God are, but it's so scary. And when I realized that I needed to feel the shame, I just opened my heart. I felt it. And we ate dinner in silence, and I felt so much that the whole building's alarm went off. The whole entire fire alarm in the building went off, because I was just feeling so electric. It was like, and my hair started to stand up and glow in the dark, because I have Ninja Turtle superhero bodacious hair, and that's what happens. And I was noticing all these body sensations. Ben and I sat with the fire alarm going off, and it was so much, it was so loud, and I couldn't calm myself. And I'm like, I had to have done this. Like, with the way I feel, I'm sure I've turned the fire alarm on. And we were silent the whole time, except then Ben goes, let's go outside. So we got dressed and silent, went outside. And the whole time I was just feeling my shame. And I wasn't feeling like shame, like I'm bad or I shouldn't. It was like, I just wanted to feel like I'm really sad that I hurt him. And he was hurting. And I was hurting because he was hurting. And I was just feeling it. I wasn't like feeling guilty. I wasn't trying to change how he was feeling. I wasn't trying to fix it. And I sat there. And it was a long time. You know, we didn't even really finish our dinner, really. We didn't eat that much. And at the end of dinner, we did talk. We said a few things throughout dinner, too. And it was more like reassurances and like me acknowledging the situation that I did something, that I was doing flow strokes with a guy who's kind of cute from the beach. And it's like one thing hanging out with the beach homies when it's like Reverend White, who's the older fella, and pretty dirty, sleeps outside. It's one thing if I'm dancing on him. It's another thing if I'm dancing with this, you know, handsome surfer, skater, whatever kind of beach guy that was. And it was fun. What was cool is we were live streaming, and he only has like 200 subscribers on his YouTube, and there was a big message that came up. YouTube capped the number of people who were allowed to join the live stream because there was so many. There was 250 people watching. It ended up being 13,000 people. He was like in disbelief. He was like, that's not mine. He's like, that's not my YouTube. I was like, yes, it is. All because he put Daisy the Venice Healer in the title. So it was kind of cool. And that is what I wanted to share about shame and feeling our feelings. So because of that, I was able to say, hey, these are my actions. I noticed that I'm sad about it. And I've thought about what I want to do different. And instead, I don't want to do flow strokes with other guys because I don't like how it makes me feel. And I thought about how I would feel if you were doing flow strokes with other women. And, you know, if you found some beautiful skater, surfer, whatever kind of beach girls and were doing flow strokes with them, I would probably be upset given our contracts and agreements. Actually, if I feel into it, I wouldn't really be upset or insecure because I don't have those insecurities. But I can see that Big Ben is upset by it. After checking in with myself, I could see that if he was doing flow strokes with another woman, I might have mixed feelings about it, actually. I'm not sure how I feel, but I saw how it made him feel. And I came to the realization before I used to just act for me, and who cares how I impact people. Now I'm part of a group conscious mind, so I don't just take into account how I feel. I take into account how is my action going to impact others. And I care about how my actions are going to impact others, and I think about that. And when I tell you I'm working on myself, like, leaning a little narcissistic means that it's hard for you to think about others and consider them all the time. So this is an example of that. And if we label people as narcissistic and we start to enemy image them, we're not going to give them an opportunity to learn and heal and grow. There's someone I want to tell you guys about. His name is Minnie Manson. I invited Minnie Manson to do a live stream with me to do the work. And it's probably going to be on my YouTube channel. And it'll be soon if you guys want to watch it, like 8:30ish. And Minnie Manson thought it was okay to rage on me and dish out on me. And as a child, my mom and my caregivers used to do whatever they wanted to us, you know, the 5 Fs. And I'm moving into the 5th dimension. You guys are too. We're all moving into the 5th dimension. We're ascending closer to source. It means we're moving into our parasympathetic nervous system. So there's the 5 Fs. I didn't talk to you guys about the 3 others. So we talked about narcissism. Narcissism just means that you lean all the way this way and you're always like thinking about yourself. But guess what? There's people who go all the way the other way. And instead of narcissist, those are like the anxious preoccupied. And the attachment style narcissistic, I think that would be more like a anxious, or it would be like a dismissive avoidant. And disorganized attachment style, that would be more of the fighting, the borderline personality disorder. So disorganized attachment style, because you are more explosive, you get more angry. It's, if you want to label it, like borderline personality, rageaholic. I don't believe in labels. They don't tell us anything except for what's wrong, and I don't believe in that. I prefer labels like superhero, king, queen. I prefer to call out our best selves and not call out our worst selves. And that is why I do not like labels. I like declarations, affirmations. I like speaking about ourselves in loving ways. The 5 F's coincide with 3 attachment styles: flight, dismissive, avoidant, narcissistic. That would be the label, right? So there's flight, and then there's fight, disorganized attachment style, borderline personality disorder. So these are just labels, right? And then if you go to fawning, and fawning is like when the animal shows the genitals, or it's like, oh, we'll just take care of your needs. Like, don't worry, my needs don't matter here. That's fawning. That's the anxious, preoccupied attachment style. Those are 3 of the F's. And then the other 2 F's are freeze and lovemaking. So freeze, you could think of as ghosting, everyone videotaping instead of doing something. Freezing is the idea that someone else will take care of it. I want to talk about violence inward and outward. Violence inward, which could be as bad as unaliving, and violence outward, which could be as bad as unaliving. So you want to look at violence outward as just an extreme version of fight. So I'm going to tell you how to deal with all of those attachment styles now. The way that you deal with, and then there's outcasting, and then there's the, we exploit each other. So the 5th F stands for love making, but it's not spelled like that. It's spelled F-U-C, And what we want is we want to know how to respond to all 5. All right? So your sympathetic nervous system does the 5. Your parasympathetic nervous system does the 3. It attunes skin into bodies, skin out to biofields, and then it doobas-scoobas and collaborates like superheroes to meet universal needs. That's the 3rd one. So repeat after me. I am a blee blue, and I'm a lovable scuba-doo. 1, 2, 3. I am a blee blue, and I'm a lovable scuba-doo. You just got more beautiful when you said that. Good job. I have TikTokulosis. I know which ones of you are not saying it. Repeat after me. I am a blee blue, a lovable scuba-doo. I have a twinkle in my eye, and so do you. I am a blissful boobadoo, and a boobadoo a scuba-doos, and I will always scuba-doo. I will be affectionate to me and you. I am a skimana. A skimana, when there is a complaint, I say complain. A skimana always plays, because a skimana is like a cute little toddler, and it's when you are in the state of climbing all over the place, and it's so cute, and it's okay, because you want to get that energy out. Okay, here's the thing about the labels. I'm going to tell you how to respond to all 5. So I just gave you the 3 ways to respond, and then I'll tell you how to respond specifically to all 5. But I got to tell you guys something really important first. We're having a healthy reaction to traumatizing stimulus. We're having a healthy reaction. That's why you're feeling sad, and I told you to put down your sadness and why you're sad, and that's why I told you my sadness. And then I told you to tell me what you're working on. And I gave you the 5 F's, and I told you that I'm the one that leans more of the flighting, right? I used to be more of the fighting, and now I lean more flight. So there's the 5 F's. Maybe you lean more fawn. And what I want us to know is that we are having a healthy reaction. Of course, you are fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Of course you're acting that way. Of course you're hurting others. Of course you're hurting yourself. Of course you're hurting others to the point of capital punishment. And of course you're hurting yourself to the point of taking away a beautiful angel who is yet to be a legend. And I want us to know that is a healthy reaction to domination systems. And as long as we are under domination systems, and until we have a global liberation, which means our universal needs matter. Domination systems have 3 wounds. And because of these 3 wounds, we act out and act inward. And then there's 4 areas of resistance. So the 4 areas of resistance: learning, teaching, giving, receiving. The 3 areas that are the wounds that we deeply cut us. The first wound is we are all acting out in the 5 F's. We're all being healthy when we're acting this way, because the world emerges in scarcity. That is the first wound. All of our universal needs are withheld. So the first wound is scarcity. The second wound is the wound of separation, because in order to control, domination systems must separate. So that means if you have friends in the same class and you guys make each other laugh or co-regulate or make each other feel good, they will separate you. If you are not bored and in a high beta brainwave, if you start to go into theta and have fun, they will separate you. So separation, that is the second wound. And also putting all the same age together and all the same creature together is a form of separation. Leaving pets at home alone and having a pet, that is a form of separation. That's like a slave because you took it from the baby. So just separation. Let's please acknowledge the wounds, okay? Don't get all defensive about your pets. I know you love them, but don't you want them to be free? I saw a coyote today and it was beautiful, and I thought, I want all animals to be free, and the animals we love would stay close to us. And if a coyote gets them, it's like, I want them to be free and know what that's like. I don't want them to be a prisoner, just to keep them alive. So separation's the second wound, and separation withholds our freedom. This is all making us not free, and that hurts us. And then the third wound is just so horrible. So because we're workers and we're told we have to sell out, people even sell their bodies. Women, sometimes they won't even date guys who have money. That's horrible. This world is horrible. The third wound is horrible. The third wound is because we're for sale, because we're sellouts. The third wound is our wound of meaning and purpose. It is why we take ourselves out, because we ask the question, what is it all worth anyway? And the answer is, your meaning and purpose is what makes it worth it. Stay. You are a legend, and you need to do hero's work. And that is true for all of us. From the tiniest microorganism, think of the important work that your microbiome does. Those are superheroes. Think about the important work that all of the microorganisms on your skin do. Think about the important work that the tiny cells in your body do. They're superheroes like you. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it really hard. Be like, I'm pondering with my brain right now about how lovable we all are. Think about it. How important we all are. We are all superheroes. Yes. And what are your gifts and talents? What are your short and long-term goals? You are not evaluating anymore. You are not judging. You are attuning to bodies, co-regulating with nervous systems, and collaborating to meet universal needs. So now that you know that we're having a healthy reaction to traumatizing stimulus, of course we're acting how we are. Of course we're narcissists. Of course we're anxious preoccupieds. Of course we're depressed and lonely. Of course we're violent. It's very, very, very healthy. So before you start enemy imaging, I want you to do ba-scuba-doo. And I want you to think of that angry baby who has not had its needs met. So the first thing that we want to know for all attachment styles, if someone is doing any of the 5 F's, outcasting, fighting, flight, freeze, fawn, any of them, sexually exploiting you, harassing you, I want you to respond as such. I want you to, number 1, look at them as God. See them as divine, like never before. And I want you to remind yourself that this being right here has never before been witnessed by you in such a way. And that's the truth. And I want you in that moment when you're witnessing them to think about how powerful you are. And I want you to become aware of 6 practices before you begin. The first practice, I want you to become aware that you are divine, you are God. And how you respond is perfect for your stage of developmental learning and growth. And you are a subjectivity to be related to as God. You are self-actualizing creativity. And in order to self-actualize, you need another witnessing presence, and that is your teacher. So the first thing I want you to do is acknowledge that we are all God. Not only are you God, but in front of you is your teacher. Remember that. And they are there to show you what your triggers are. You are in the communication dojo right now because this is a triggering moment because we are in the 5 Fs. So the first thing I want you to do is acknowledge the divinity. In front of you is your teacher. That's another God. And you're God. So the divinity of all. Second thing I want you to do is, and this is for all attachment styles and responding to all the 5 Fs, and then I'll go individually into each one after the 6 practices. The second practice I want you to do is I want you to become aware that we are all the same spirit, that this other subjectivity in front of you is just another you. And you are doing it perfectly. And they are doing it perfectly. And I want you to think about that. If this is another me, they're doing exactly what I would be doing if I was them. So the second practice is we're all the same spirit. We acknowledge the oneness. So think about that. They are doing the exact same thing I would be doing if I were them. So we have the second practice that they're the same spirit, because then you start to realize that they're just responding from their stage of developmental learning and growth. So we're going to start to soften. And your piranha teeth are going to disappear. And your gorilla shoulders are going to go down. You little softy, you're just filled with mush and love now. So the third thing you're going to do is you are going to become intentional. You are so powerful and influential because you are intentional. Becoming intentional, because it could be like, I have an intention to connect. I have an intention to disconnect. I do not want to continue this conversation. Or yes, I do want to. Or no, I do not ever want to see this person ever again. Or yes, I do want to. So what is your intention? Is it to like build the connection or stop it? And you then check in deeper with your intention. So if your connection's to build the connection, well, then if you need understanding, get in touch with what you're needing. And then if you want to be intentional about meeting your needs, then meet their needs first. So that it would look like this. Like if we want to be intentional, then let's say I have a need for empathy. I'm going to give empathy first and be like, oh, it must have felt like this for you. It felt like that. And these needs must have been important for you. And this, I think this was your desire. Is that true? And then from there, we could say, well, what are you needing right now from me? Would you like some empathy? And give them what they need. And after meeting their needs, then you, because you have more skills, because you know this practice of attuning, co-regulating, and collaborating, you are able to do it first and model it for them. So do that. Don't expect them to do it for you first, because they're not watching my videos on conscious communication. They're not watching Marshall Rosenberg or my teachers Yvette Erasmus or Sarah Payton or Mickey Kashtan. You are. So you're the one who knows. Don't make it up to them. That's like you're the superhero. Don't be like, no, they're the superhero. It's not someone else will do it. You do it. So if you want understanding and empathy, you do not ask for it without giving it first. Because we tend to do this. We tend to go to someone and say, you're not giving me empathy and understanding. And as soon as we do that, we are becoming exactly what they did to us. And we don't want to do that, because then we're just continuing the cycle. We're actually the chain breakers, and we blast off, so we can't have chains. Those hold us down, and we blast off, so we just get those chains off. Oh, like they're like little hairs that just snap so easy. You break those chains off, superhero, and you blast off. So once you're intentional, then you know exactly how to meet your needs, and then you want to model first. So if you're intentional, you're like, I'm gonna get clarity because I'm being intentional. And then you're like, hey, can you give me clarity about this situation? Well, I wouldn't start like that. If your intention is to get clarity, first give them some clarity. Like, hey, I'm wondering if you have the capacity or willingness to help me receive some clarity. I want to make sure that you understand I have good intentions, and my intentions are give them clarity. I want to give you clarity that you know that my intentions are good. Could you give me the clarity? So that's the third, is be intentional. The fourth practice is always move. Not just move your body. Look, I'm always stretching. I feel so good. I'm always moving and dancing. This is what makes me so lovable. Always move. Another thing that makes you so lovable is when you always move, means that you're constantly learning and growing, that if you have a rift or if there's a rupture, even if there's not repair work, if some time goes by, then it's, hey, how's it going? And you have a beautiful, warm, positive attitude. When you're always moving, you don't stay stuck in a situation. You also have clarity, you carry the data, and you use it for next time. And then if it comes up again, that's a good time to talk about what happened before. But you're not going to carry that with you because you're always moving. You're moving through the relationship. You're moving through the rifts. You're moving your body. So the fourth practice is always move. And that means that you will never age, because if you're always moving, you're always learning new things. You're always teaching yourself new practices in your body, new practices with your brain, new practices with your heart. You're always moving. You're not afraid to have relationships where your heart might be broken, or it might be a project, because you also have peers and masters where you are a project sometimes. So you are not afraid. You're always moving, and your heart's a muscle. You want to move it and exercise it too. And the fifth practice is, what did we come here to do? The fifth practice is always play. And always play is our super learning state. Play is when we are bewildered. It is our most sociable, amicable. When we are playful, we are our most charming. Oh, people can't stop smiling. We're just so charming. We're cute. Ever seen a baby want to play? When we are playful, we are inspirational. We are powerful. We are our highest vibration. Go play. And the sixth and final practice is extremely important. I save the best for last. Anytime I ever wipe out on my skateboard, it's because I'm not focusing on my breath. Number 6, always focus on your breath. Also, when I'm on my skateboard, I got my elbows above my heart. I'm in my body. I'm doing all the 6 practices. But most importantly, I'm focusing on my breath. And I'll tell you the reason why you want to focus on your breath. If you focus on your breath, you're going to move deeper into these transcendental states where we move to a higher vibration. Like we were talking about, the 5th dimension, our parasympathetic nervous system. We go through alpha and theta and delta and gamma brain waves. And it feels wonderful because we're focusing on our breath. We're taking ourselves deeper to that state. Now, here's the best part. The deeper you're thinking, the deeper you're breathing, the deeper you're thinking. And it gets to a point where your thinking becomes less and less angry, less and less panicked, less and less worried, less and less sad. And then it becomes more positive, and then it becomes more playful, and then it becomes very, very loving, and then you don't think at all. And there's just your breath. And you can feel it all. You can feel your breath moving in and through you. And you love it. It feels so good. And you could even Relax the whole wide world with your breath. If someone's freaking out, you just put your hand on your chest. And you breathe, and you could lean in and tilt your head and let them know that you care. Nod your head. Or if it's something that needs to be acknowledged, you might come up really still and put your hand on your heart and bow your head. And you are breathing because you are breathing. The person who is ecstatic, chaotic, inconsolable becomes calm with your breath. They co-regulate. You are so powerful when you focus on your breath. So those are 6 practices, okay? So, now, with the 5 attachment styles, if you are dealing with fight, they want to fight everything. Everything you talk about is a fight. Everything you say is wrong. And how dare you? Oh, are you accusing me? They will accuse you. The fighters love excitement. I want you to become an emotional alchemist, and I want you to think about the 5 F's in terms of energy. So what does the fight represent? How does fight energy move? If you're like angry and violent, it goes up and it goes out. Oh yes, when we are angry and violent, the energy goes up and out. Yes, grasshopper. You're so smart and pretty, grasshopper. Now tell me, what other energy goes up and out? The other energy that goes up and out is excitement. Yeah, surprise! Another energy that goes up and out is play. Enjoy. And another energy that could go up and out, ecstasy. So anger and violence, ooh, starting to get a little emotional alchemist. I love it. You're doing perfect. Keep going. So if the person is angry and if they are violent, this is what I want you to say. I want you to match their energy. And if they're facing you, it's going to be a lot better to have a discussion like this. So I don't want you to label them, oh, this person's borderline personality, because they are explosive and they tend to have the fight style, which is a disorganized attachment style. So I'm going to label them violent, borderline personality, liability. And when we start labeling, we're going to lose our power. We're already out of the 6 practices. So what we want to do is we don't want to be in resistance at all. We want to welcome it in. And I know that this could sound scary, because if you are a tiny woman and if you are a child and a grown-up, someone much bigger than you is raging at you, that could be really terrifying. And you may not be able to go into your heart. You may go into one of the 5 F's. And I'm letting you know that in your heart, you are actually way more powerful. That in your heart, there is much more wisdom and influence available. So I just want you to get centered with those 6 practices first for that reason. And once you get there, you will be in your heart. And this is what I want you to do. If someone is angry, I want you to join them. Tell them exactly what they're doing is welcome, and I want you to name it in neutral observations that you like. And I want you to mean it. And it will sound something like this. I'm so angry. Everything you say is wrong. I could tell that you do not have my best interests, and you don't have my back, and my needs do not matter. And you don't care about how I feel or love me. I'm so angry and violent. Of course you're angry and violent. Look, this makes total sense. Of course you're really loud. Of course I get really loud too when I'm angry and violent. Your anger and violence is welcome here. Hey, come on. Let's get even louder together. Here, let's, instead of facing each other, because like your breath smells good. It's not your breath or anything like that. I like your breath. But, and also if you get a little drops of spit on me, that's totally fine too. But I don't want you to feel like you're yelling at me. I want to be on your side. I'm on your team. And I want us to yell together because I don't want you to think that I'm against you. I'm not against you. We're together. And your anger is welcome and your violence is welcome. You don't gotta be angry at me. I'm gonna do it better. We're gonna figure it out. For now, let's just take care of this anger. You're having the anger. It's like really important that we do it together. I've got a lot of capacity. And I've got a lot of willingness. You could see I love you. And I do care about you and your needs do matter to me. And I wanna do it with you. Let's rage. Let's rage at the ocean. It's right there. Get those dolphins. Yell as loud as you can. What makes you angry? I'm so angry because I want to be more lovable. Of course. So yell it at the ocean. I'm too lovable for this. I'm too lovable. I'm too lovable. You're doing a really good job. Of course. Yes. A lot of times when people are raging and you make space for it, there will be panic and then there will be tears. And it's kind of funny, like if you hold back tears that really, really gotta come, have you ever noticed that by holding them back, you'll start to get kind of like panicky in your body? Yeah, that's just what our body does. All of us have a body, and then all of us got the same body sensations. We're all the same. All of us got a biofield. We all got the same feelings. Those are the same. All of us got the same universal needs. Plants, animals, dirt. You don't think dirt's got the same universal needs? Dirt needs oxygen. Dirt needs food. Dirt needs love. Dirt needs everything you do. All of us do. You don't think those plants need your affection? When you go by, whether you're walking or going by on your bike, touch them. We all have the same universal needs. So that's how you take care of fight. And also, you notice I said I have a lot of willingness and capacity when I was talking to the angry one and the violent one. Honor your capacity and have others there. I recommend calling a third party and having them on speakerphone, going to the neighbor's house, inviting them in. Let them know your attachment style. Let them know what's happening in your home. Have a safe haven that you could go to. Get out of the chaos. Do not stay for it. Because if you stay for it, then your body is going to go into beta brainwave. And I want you to constantly go into your heart. And the key is to take care of the outer stimulus and make sure that your outer stimulus is loving and life enriching and healing. Because if you do, then what will happen is it will be a lot easier to regulate your body because you're already going to be in this beautiful, tranquil state. If you're not having healthy relationships, you're going to always be triggered. Then you're always going to be online. If people are saying stuff to hurt your feelings, let them know, like, hey, listen, I'm working on having more kindness and value for others in my life. And it's not in my alignment to be in conversations where there's negative evaluations, put downs, cuss words. And if you're not able to meet my standard for respect and kindness, then I'm going to have to take some space right now. Because for me, it is a tender time. I'm still working on myself. You guys, this is all true for me, by the way. I'm still working on myself. I will take time. That's why I'm going to live stream with Minnie Manson soon. To let Minnie Manson know, like, hey, when you dish out on me, I know that you're traumatized, but it hurts me. It hurts my heart. And you cannot do this to me. I'm not available. I actually don't have the willingness and capacity. So that's the stage I'm in. If you're in the stage where you can receive the anger and the violence, go for it. That's how you do it, okay? And there's situations where I can, like, typically I won't though, I will leave. But there's situations where I can't, but I found that I don't have to. Like, I did something that dishonored my partner who I love very much and I want to connect deeply with and I want to build trust. And instead of attacking me and yelling at me and getting super angry, he was really loving and sweet and treated me with a lot of grace and kindness. And he said things like, I know that you're learning and growing too. I know that you're continuing to work on yourself, and thank you for doing that work. And because we have a learning and growth mindset and I can make a mistake and he's not going to attack me, it makes me feel really relaxed, like I can trust. If you have someone in your life who attacks you, you don't have to put up with that. All right? So that's what I want to say about fight. The next one I want to talk about is I want to talk about the flight. So we do not want to enemy image flight. And we do not want to label it either. So if you are enemy imaging and labeling flight, then this would be our narcissists, right? Narcissistic people. This would be our dismissive and avoidant attachment style. They're always running away, flight. And all of us do this in some ways, right? And we're working on becoming more conscious. We want to come from our heart, come from source, come from love. So if someone is dismissive and avoidant, just like the angry and violent person, meet them where they're at. Okay? This person is gonna like pull away and they're gonna kind of like dismiss him and avoid you. And when they're doing this, it's not that like they only care about themselves. It's not that they don't think your needs matter. It's that they're not used to trusting others. So dismissive and avoidant people have a really bad rap. Dismissive and avoidant people are called narcissists. And if you're called a narcissist, see, borderline personality is kind of like, oh, you're crazy. But a narcissist is like, oh, you don't care. And narcissists are bad. Like, they're only out for themselves. This kind of enemy imaging is not acknowledging that sweet little baby that we talked about. Have you ever, like, seen Tony Robbins or a therapist or some kind of healer? I say Tony Robbins because therapy doesn't help, but people like that help have big breakthroughs. Have you ever seen Tony Robbins talk to someone and within seconds he's already saying, when you were a child, was that your self-limiting belief? No one cares about me, or whatever the self-limiting belief is. So we'll go through life with these beliefs and these unconscious programs and contracts. They happened to us when we were really little. Most of the time, narcissists, the people who favor flight of the 5 Fs, the dismissive, avoidant attachment style, these are the ones who were neglected. These are the ones who were told, like, you need to take care of yourself. Others are not going to take care of your needs. Others are not going to be there for you. These are the ones who suffered neglect. That's sad. It's sad when people suffer neglect. It's sad because what would we have wanted if that was our baby? Right? What if someone was watching I think about it all the time. Like, how are my kids getting treated? What kind of life are they having? And what would we do if that was our baby? And I want you to think of the narcissist as a little baby who is not picked up. And I want you to think as the disorganized attachment style, the one before fighting. I want you to look at that baby as the baby who is literally hit. All right? And being neglected and being hit is sad. So the babies who were hit are going to grow up and they're going to need to have a space to rage, because that cannot be put inside you and not come out. It has to come out. So we don't want to send the police. We don't want to put them on 5150s. We want to give them a space to rage. All right? It's not for their safety. No, put them in a 5150. No, that's messed up. Have you guys ever been on a 5150? Because you don't say that then, because you wouldn't say that. Hey, have you ever been to jail? You ever spent a week in jail? Multiple times because you went to go see your kids? All right, don't say that then. Because unless we've been to these places, we don't know. They don't work, okay? A narcissist, if they are dismissing and avoiding you, then you've heard of the retreat pursue dynamic, and we're told not to pursue. Well, you learn to pursue with love, okay? You learn to pursue. You let them know you're pursuing. You say, hey, I'm here. I want to talk to you. I'm going to be reminding you that I'm here, and I'm hoping you will reach out to me. I'm going to message you every week to let you know I want to talk. And then I will move to every month or whatever it is. The dismissive and avoidant person, honor what they ask for if they ask for space, but ask them what they want. Do you want me to reach out to you and check in with you the way that I am to see if you're ready to talk yet? If you would rather me not reach out, and if you would prefer that you be the one to reach out to me first, could you let me know? Because I don't want to reach out if the impact is causing you harm. I want to make sure that I'm a life-enriching, enhancing, positive presence in your world, because I can tell by your dismissing and avoiding me that I'm not doing it right. And I know that this is your way of telling me that when you push me away, you're actually just letting me know that I did something wrong. And that when you avoid me, I think what you're saying is that I hurt you. Is that true? Please know that I'm here. When you're ready to talk about it, I want to. Do you? And if not, when? And if the person is dismissing and avoiding a lot, then there's honoring your willingness and capacity, like we said. Attuning to your body, regulating your biofield. If you could co-regulate your biofield with someone else, go ahead, do that. Do it to scoop. That's how you're supposed to be wired, not all by yourself. That's a blanca laca. You don't want a blanca laca. You want a blilasa. That's so much better. That's when all of our nervous systems create a blilasa symphony orchestra. So wonderful. So one nervous system is a blanca laca, and a whole lot of nervous systems a blisa lasa. And that's because all of our nervous systems co-regulate, and it's much more inspiring and vibrating higher than you could ever imagine. It's a miracle and beautiful, and it makes us more beautiful and upgrades our DNA. The narcissist needs clear communication, and they're lovable. It's like a little angry baby, and the little angry baby needs to be told things like, I want us to be interdependent. I want us to meet needs together. I notice that you like to do a lot of things on your own. Would you like to meet some needs together? Would you like to meet these needs and these needs and these needs? And I would rather do it with you than do it alone. How does that sound? Narcissists are used to being neglected. Remember that. The borderline personality people are used to being beat up and had really chaotic environment. Those are like the people with the addicts and the rageaholic parents. So please have empathy for these people. They're just little babies that grew up. And think of how cute babies are. Can you believe how cute babies are? You would never talk to a baby the way you're talking to that person, okay? Would you talk to a sweet puppy like that? No. If someone was screaming and yelling at a puppy or a kitten, could you imagine? What about a baby shark? You'd be like, don't, just stop. So don't do that either. Okay, now we're going to move to the next one. And if you guys have questions, then I will tell you when to put them in the chat. I'm going to go through the next 3 a little bit faster, okay? So we did fight, we did flight, and then the next one I'm going to do is fawn. Fawning is the third F, and it is the third attachment style, the anxious and preoccupied attachment style. Now, if you want to label these people, this would be like your people pleasers. Notice there's not a negative label for this. Like there's a narcissist or borderline personality or the fighting people. Like if you're a rageaholic, that could be considered a sociopath, right? But if you are the third F, if you are a fawner, notice how there's not that many enemy images for you. Take that in. So there's a lot of reward to this. Are you enjoying taking care of everyone and not yourself? Don't be so humble. You're not that good. And that's what's great about this, is we all get to be the special one if no one is the special one. So the thing with fawning is like the doctor who will work until he dies 20 years early and no one knew that he had stage 4 cancer because he worked until the day he died, refusing to ever take care of his own needs, always taking care of the needs of everyone else. And this would be praised in whatever they write up in the newspaper. That's our culture. So fawning can be really bad. It's like it's a form of self-destruction because you're only considering the needs of others. Where narcissists and the sociopaths and the borderline personality, like these people are like hurting others and causing pain. Where the anxious, preoccupied, they're like a little bit more subtle and really sweet, and they're just like really hyper attuned to like, are you feeling okay? Are you okay? Are you happy? Do you need anything? Oh, can I go get you? Can I go do something for you? Are you upset with me? Did I do anything wrong? Are we okay? Our relationship's okay? How are we going to be in the future? Everything okay in the past? Do I need to worry about anything? Like these anxious, preoccupied attachment styles, they are suffering. And the other 2 attachment styles are suffering too. This attachment style kind of suffers on their own. Like they usually don't go get empathy for it, where the other 2 attachment styles, where if you're dismissive and avoidant, you're kind of dealing with your stuff on your own too, but you're really not like worried about anyone else. Like you're just like, everyone's gonna take care of themselves. If you're anxious, preoccupied, you're suffering a lot of the time. All these attachment styles are suffering, but anxious, preoccupied, I cannot relate to that attachment style at all. Personally, I don't have that in me. And I've been tested many times, and I always test 0 with anxious, preoccupied. So I don't know what that's about. I am super confident, and I know I'm really lovable. And I also love everyone else a lot. And I really want to work on being super more loving and caring and considering others' needs, because I know I'm really good at doing it for me. So I want to get really, really, really good at doing it for everyone else too. And I don't have any anxious, preoccupied in me. So other people may be able to talk about it a lot more. But I'm going to tell you that what I do know about it is that you're going to get more panic attacks in this attachment style. That you're going to feel more like emptiness, and you're going to be more like kind of treated like a doormat, and you're going to experience more abuse. You're going to get scapegoated more. You're also going to have a lot of benefit to this because there's a big upside. Like I said, you will be praised because you will be seen as sort of like someone that people could go to. Your quiet presence will be soothing to others, and people won't really know what you're thinking because you're anxious, preoccupied. People will just kind of like sort of wonder what you're thinking. And the narcissistic people and the borderline personality and the sociopaths and all of the labels, I don't even agree with labels. Just mix it up and have a salad. But all of the labels kind of look at the anxious, preoccupied style like, what is this interesting creature? Like, what is actually going on with them? Like, we just look at them like a strange specimen, because it's not all about them. And they are thinking about what we need. So we love that, right? Us narcissists and sociopaths and disorganized attachment styles and Dismissive, avoidant, love it. So the anxious, preoccupied attachment style, this is how you respond to them. If there is an anxious, preoccupied attachment style, you want to let them know, hey, I support you no matter what. Your needs matter to me, and I derive a lot of pleasure. Make sure that they know how important it is to you and how much pleasure you get when they receive from you. And let them know things like, hey, I would like to know how to contribute to your thriving. Let them know that about you. Let the people who are anxious and preoccupied, because they are always fawning. They're like the animal that when you come over to say hi, they're like not worthy. They'll show you their genitals and be like, no, not worthy. Like, it's really sweet. So we want to build them up. We want to tell them how important they are. If they're anxious and preoccupied, that means that they're worried. Okay? So take a second and I want you to take that in. So these are the babies who constantly, like they might have been left. They might have had some kind of trauma where like they couldn't trust. Like they were abandoned. Something made them really anxious and really sad. Who knows what happened? They could have been bullied. Something really sad happened to them. And they need to be built up. They need you to do that because they're worried you're going to leave them. They're worried that you don't care enough to ever want to meet their needs. Like their needs don't matter. That's what they believe. So if we're responding to this attachment style, we want to build them up. Tell them how lovable they are. Okay? Make sure that you're asking, what are you feeling? And then look at their body. Hey, I noticed your breath went all the way up here. Could you tell me what's happening for you? What are you needing in this moment? How can I contribute to your thriving? I love you so much. You know, you really matter to me, and I love supporting you. I just want to worship you. I love co-worshiping. I don't want any codependence. I want to make sure that I'm always considering you and thinking about you. Would you tell me what you're needing all the time? Whenever it comes up, okay? I'm wanting to make sure. Could you reassure me? Because I want to know. And could you also reassure me that you know how lovable you are and that my love for you continues to expand and grow? Okay, good. Thank you. This is what we got to say to it makes me a little choked up, to the anxious, preoccupied people, because, you know, we tend to brutalize them. We don't want that. And I'm pretty sure that Big Ben and I are securely attached. But I'm pretty sure that I lean a little bit narcissistic and he leans a little bit the other way. He leans a little bit like anxious, preoccupied. So it's my work with the people in my life to make sure that I'm letting them know how important they are and how lovable they are. So what is your work? Are you one of those 3 attachment styles? And please don't label yourself. Just look at it as fight, flight, fawn. And then the other 2 is I want to talk about freeze, and then I'll talk about the last one, okay? So freeze. If someone is freezing, that means they're ghosting. So we don't want to freeze, we don't want to ghost, we don't want to outcast. If you're freezing, it means that you're saying that it's not me, I'm not the one. It's when you take out your camera and you videotape, or when you walk by someone who's suffering and you don't help. A freeze response is when you say someone else will do it. And this is what's happening all over the earth. A freeze response is also when we outcast someone from our life and we say, no, I can't handle this, I'm not doing it. Instead of freezing, we don't want to do that. Okay, so this is what you want to do. Instead of freezing, if you see someone suffering, you walk by and you say, that is me. You do the 6 practices and you think of like, what's an open-hearted response from source energy? What is God going to do? And so I thought about this. Jesus is God's son. Okay. I'm God's mother, and you're God's mother and God's dad and God's mother. We're the parents and we're the children and we're God. We're multi-dimensional beings. I want you to think about that. You're a baby, you're a child, so you're going to be coming from all these different parts. Identify it. And then what part of you, like if you see someone suffering, like maybe you could remember when you were a child and you suffered like that. And instead of freezing, I want you to just look at them, and I want you to acknowledge what's happening for you matters to me. If they're suffering, you don't even have to do anything except that, because then you're doing something. And you could even say it like, hey, I want you to know you matter to me, and I love you, and I want you to thrive. And that's it. You don't freeze. You don't act like that person's not there and walk by as if they're invisible. And even if you just look at them and send them love, then you are doing it, superhero. You're rising above your freeze response. A freeze response is when you outcast someone, when you punish them by withholding energies, attention, connection. When you're freezing and outcasting as a freeze response, then if you're on the receiving end of it, then what you want to do is you want to try to talk to anyone else involved to try to see if there can be some way to bridge the gap, because if you're receiving it, then someone else may not. And then there's other areas too. So try to mend it, because if you exist in a field with someone outcasting and you allow that rupture to exist without repair work, it's going to be in the vibratory field. It's going to hurt everyone. If you can't talk to them and get out of that outcasting state, then do the repair work and the processing with that person by yourself, by channeling their energy. You could see me doing it on my live streams when I literally call my kids and I channel their energy and I talk to them, and I do it with my mom and my dad, and I did it with my sister, and soon I'll do my brother. And I will call all three of my kids, and you'll watch me do it. You'll watch me heal like that, because I'm being outcasted. I can't talk to them. So that's how you deal with the freeze response. And to rise above the freeze response, do your repair work. Okay, that's what freeze response is about. Freeze response is about not wanting to do the work and feeling like it's broken, and it's not broken, and you can do the work, and you are a superhero, and you are that powerful. So get out of the freeze response and get into your bravery, superhero, because you could do it. And that is what I would say about freeze. And then the final one, I have a lot to say about, but I'm not going to say that much, even though I probably have the most to say about this one. The fifth F. So first we did fight, then we did flight, then we did fawn, then we did freeze. Now we're doing FUC. And love making, I call the fifth F, because just like the other 5 Fs, I want the fifth F to be sacred. I want it to be sacred. Sex is sacred. You do not have sex with someone because they have money. You do not have sex with someone because they look good. You do not have sex with someone because they are young. You do not have sex with someone because they are old. You do not have sex with someone unless your body literally makes it so that that is the only thing that you can think about, and you desire that one deeply. This includes having sex with yourself. This is very healthy. It becomes unhealthy when it is no longer sacred. If you are using these creative powers and channeling them, and masturbation is a sacred time, and you're not watching porn or acting out or lusting over others who do not give their consent, and I believe masturbation is something sacred that's meant to be done with ourselves or with someone else who we have a sacred bond with. And all sexual acts are meant to be sacred. I believe that we are loving, and our relationships are where we heal. And I saved the best for last, because there is a tantric practice which I created called flow strokes. And I started off with the live stream saying how my partner was upset that I did flow strokes with another guy. I could understand that. And if our partnerships are sacred, we can have these soul connections where we blast off and transcend to much higher vibrations. I'm not just talking about like ecstasy through pleasure. I'm talking about ecstasy through bliss, and ecstasy through spiritual joy, and ecstasy through transcending into the integrated messages that are of a higher awareness, that is more loving and inclusive of all of life, so that we are co-creating time and space as architects of reality, because we are able to connect with another one so deeply. Like, that is what lovemaking is meant to be. It's meant to be a state where we release dimethyltryptamine in our brain. We do incredible yoga poses and assisted stretching. We're doing breath work, and afterwards our bodies are flooded with endorphins and oxytocin. We feel incredible. It is a sacred practice. And then soon your bodies will get used to it. Every single day, King Big Ben knows that my body will wake up about 30 minutes before his. I will come over and I will start caressing him from head to toe. I will touch him and love him. Every single speck of his body will be kissed and loved. And this is quite exciting, as you can imagine, for King Big Ben. Every single morning, he knows that I will initiate love. And in knowing his body being used to and expecting, just like if you wake up every morning and you have a bowel movement, which I do. I wake up every morning. I have a very regular, extremely efficient digestive tract. Everything I have eaten, which I eat one time a day right before I go to bed, every single thing that I ate comes out in the morning. It's extremely efficient. And before that happens, every single morning, Ben's body, just like my body is very efficient, his body is very efficient. He knows the snuggling is coming. Many times I come over, his body's already very excited. He knows I'm going to caress him from head to toe, kiss him from head to toe, love him. I believe that we learn to, not just a baby latching on to the mother and suckling, but we learn to suckle each other's bodies as adults too. And that this is healthy. And that if we make love so sacred, and that the fifth F is so sacred, then this will create the most incredible healing partnership, where that will be the most empowering being who can feel you, knows exactly what you need. Let me tell you what happened with my partner, King Big Ben. We had that incident I told you about earlier. And the incident I told you about earlier, in a nutshell, I didn't honor him. And then he realized that some of my needs weren't getting met. What did he do? We usually get up at 4 a.m. He set the alarm for 3 a.m. At 2:45 a.m., I was already caressing him. I didn't know that he had set the alarm. I just thought we were going to sleep till 4, and it was just an early caress, but my body somehow knew. And the alarm went off, and he jumped out of bed. He said, "Come on, we're going to go run." And I was like shocked. I was so happy, because that's all I want to do is wake up, skateboard like 5 to 10 miles. I want him to run. I want to do an hour of yoga. And he woke up and jumped out of bed. He's like, "Let's do it. Let's go skateboard. I'll run, and we're going to do an hour of yoga." And it was 3 a.m. I was like, okay. And then I go, "But wait a second, not before we do our love-making practice. Get back in that bed." And I said, "I want us to have time for snuggling, because it's not like it takes that much time out of our day, and it's so important. And just because my needs are getting met, I don't want there to be compromise. Now your needs aren't getting met. I know that this time's really special for King Big Ben." And women, if you walk around topless, this will relax your hunk. If you cup his butt together, men tend to have very bubbly butts. It's amazing, the projection of men's gluteus. Their butts are incredibly bubbly. So if you grab and squeeze their butt, it will not only relax you, it will relax the hunk. So walk around topless. This will relax the hunk. Now our bodies are sacred. We're not exploiting each other sexually. We're worshiping. Also, if you notice, the male's genitalia is very heavy. The girls, we don't really have to carry anything. It's just all tucked away very neatly inside. We keep everything away tight. And the boys have this heaviness, huge packages that sway back and forth, giantness between their legs. And these glorious, gorgeous hunks, they act like it doesn't even bother them. So it brings them great ecstasy. It makes them like gentle giants. If you want a gentle hunk, then you lift the genitals and you carry them. And this is very important. It soothes them. It relaxes them. And you could use both hands. You could grab the gluteus, and it's a huge bubble butt, and you squeeze it together like two big balloons, and you squish. And then you lift up the genitalius, and like two giant, heavy package balls of joy and a long, huge meat sausage of love. You hold the heaviness up, and it's the most enjoyable experience, deeply soothing and relaxing. The perineum muscle, the space in between genitalia and anus, is right there. So you want to push up on the hunk. Get right in the perineum, push up onto the hunk's perineum while holding the heaviness of the genitalia and cuppy, the bootiness of the bouncy bubble booty. And this will hunkify the hunky gloriousness into a state of gentleness. We want our hunks to be gentle. So every morning I relax and caress and squeeze and touch and love and suckle and love engulf and the hunk every morning, because the fifth F is sacred. And that time in the morning, it is a sacred practice. I also massage my hunk every single day. I do flow strokes on him, and he massages my body every day. I worship him. We groom each other every day. I'm always squeezing the pores, and he squeezes my pores, and we relax. If my pores are being squeezed, I go limp. If his pores are being squeezed, he goes limp. When we bathe each other, like, I make sure that every single one of his cuticles and nails and everything is clipped, and his toes are always beautiful, and his feet look perfect and are soft as a baby's booty, and everything is massaged in all of his muscles. And if any of his muscles are sore, I know about it, and those are massaged. And that is the fifth F. It's when you make love sacred. And I don't have to tell you about how we make it not sacred, right? I'm going to end the live stream right there, because we all know how we make it not sacred, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of sugar daddies and sugar babies, because that is a form of rape. If a woman is a sugar baby, she has to numb out. She has to do drugs and alcohol to be able to sell her body. And I'm recovering sugar baby. I am sober from drugs and alcohol for almost 7 years because I was a sugar baby, because of what happened to me when I was a baby. And that's one of the 5 F's. And because I was sexually exploited when I was a baby, I did it when I was adult. And that's what I told you about attachment styles. If it happens to you when you're a baby, it happens when you're an adult. And we learn how to grow out of it. If you're a sugar baby, that you're acting out. If you're a sugar daddy, you're acting out. Don't do it. Do the other thing I said. Co-worshipping is way better. It's way more fun. Ask King Big Ben. I do everything for that man. If I want him to be in ecstasy all the time, I derive an incredible amount of pleasure from bringing him joy. And I'm going to end the live stream right there. I love you guys. I love and release you. Do better. Be better. King Big Ben is we are exclusive. He's my life partner. And he asked me to be exclusive and not have any other kings. So if that's the case, then maybe he'll put a rock on it and give me babies, because that's what I want. And I was going to look for a bull to get me pregnant. And if he wants to be exclusive, then maybe he should marry me and get me pregnant. So anyways, I love and release you guys. And you're super lovable. Boop, boop. There's a boop on your nose. Boop yourself on the nose too. 10 more times today. I love you. Goodbye.